Today on Larry King Now, she's the voice of Lois Griffin on Family Guy. And now Alex Borstein steps in front of the camera for HBO's newest comedy series.
I think what's really, really cool about this project is that it kind of walks the fine line of making you laugh one minute and kind of choking you up the other.
Plus, can you go into it right now?
Yeah, I can go into it right now. She's just a part of me, Larry.
And he's a rising star in the comedy world. We welcome comedian and actor and rapper, DElia. What would you like to change about yourself?
Oh, I'm selfish. I'm really selfish.
You are?
Yeah.
Badly selfish?
Yeah, I wish this was my show.
That's all ahead on Larry King Now. Welcome to Larry King Now, our special guest, Alex Borstein. For years, she's been the voice of Lois Griffin on the Fox animated series Family Guy, which is only the funniest show in the history of television. You know her as well for her fan-favorite characters from the sketch comedy show Mad TV, and now she's back in front of the camera in HBO's new comedy series, Getting On, Sunday nights at 10. How did Getting On happen?
Getting On got on. I was developing something for BBC, a whole separate project.
The British.
The British. Getting On is based on a series of the same name that has been on in the UK. It's an award-winning, BAFTA-winning series that they've redeveloped for the States. So I was working with BBC on redeveloping something else, and this came down the pike, and they thought of me, and it was like a week after having my baby, I got an email about, will you audition for this project? And I was like, no, I'm not doing anything. I'm gonna take time off. Getting On? This British? Are you kidding me? Yes. I dropped the baby right there and dropped her on the floor and ran downstairs, and my husband put me on tape for an audition. I played Dawn Forchette, who is a very put-upon, kind of a woman who's arrested development. She's kind of stuck at age 13, like the social mentality of a 13-year-old. Working in a geriatric wing of a hospital, an all-female geriatric wing of a hospital.
All-female geriatric wing. Those the nurses are female, the patients are female.
Not all the nurses are female, but all the patients are female. It's an all-female floor.
Getting on getting on in age.
Getting on in age and getting on in life.
Is it a pure comedy?
No, it's. I think what's really, really cool about this project is that it kind of walks the fine line of making you laugh one minute and kind of choking you up the other. It's you know, it's dying. We're tending to dying women. My character in particular is, I think she does what she does and is so attached to it because she's so fearful that she's going to be one of these women. She's going to end up alone. She's a nurse. She's going to end up alone with no one to hold her hand as she, you know, faces her last few weeks and breaths. So it's a dark little comedy.
What started for you, voiceovers or on screen? Or you were a writer, right?
Well, yes. What started for me, I first started in advertising. And while I was working as a copywriter, I had done some improv classes at a place in LA called Acme. And that led to writing sketch comedy. And writing there, I started writing for daytime animation. I got a job for Casper the Friendly Ghost, Pinky and the Brain, and so I did daytime animation, and then I was still doing the live sketch comedy, and then I got an audition for Mad TV, doing a festival in Austin, Texas. They saw me there. And then I was on Mad TV in front of the camera, and that's when I met Seth MacFarlane, and that's when I started doing voices.
Did you like doing on camera right away?
I did. I loved it. I loved, with sketch, I loved the immediacy of it. I loved writing something one week, and next week, if it passed the bar, getting to put it on the air.
How did you get Lois?
How did I get Lois? While I was working on Mad TV, the woman who developed Mad TV was also developing a little show called Family Guy with Seth MacFarlane. And at the time, they first thought they were going to put them on Mad TV as interstitials, like they did with The Simpsons, they did with Tracy Ullman. I don't know if you remember, that's how it was born. So that's what they were going to do, but thankfully, Seth was savvy enough to not want to give up the rights, which I think it would have required. He would have lost ownership if he did that.
Sharp guy.
Very sharp. So he waited. The woman who was developing that and had known me from Mad TV asked if I would help with the pilot presentation.
You had to audition for Seth?
I did not. I showed up at a studio. Oh, I should have brought you that picture a young Seth with his hair all down and a rugby shirt and Coke bottle glasses. We actually had the same haircut, which is alarming. We both had this weird, all brushed forward bangs. It was
So
terrible.
you didn't audition. How did you get it?
I showed up and he needed someone to help with the pilot presentation. And at that time, you know, I think he was a little like, oh my God, it's Alex Borstein from Mad TV. You know, I was the big shot then. And he was, you know, I was doing him a favor of helping with the pilot presentation. And I was doing a live show at the time that was doing a voice that sounded like my cousin in Long Island. And I said, how about this? And he said, can you speed it up? Because the show's only 22 minutes and that's really annoying. So I sped it up and he said, that's great. And we did that. And then when the show got the green light to be made, Fox made him re-audition everyone on the planet to see if there was someone better than me.
So you had to go through
Then
that.
I had to go through. After I had done the job, then I had to
So how
fight
long
for
did you
the
have to
job.
wait to know that you got it?
I don't know. It was a couple months.
Did you think it would be a hit?
I knew it was special. I mean, I knew reading it that it was different. It was like nothing else I.
Way out.
It was really different, and the pace was different. It was like this mix of. It was like someone with ADD watching sketch. It was like sketch comedy kind of coming at you in all directions.
What is the secret of Lois? Why does she
Dick.
put up with him?
Well, rumor is he's very well hung. Giant cartoon penis, Larry.
I don't know. You know, I tend to believe that men, you know, the XX chromosomes are the way it's supposed to be, and men are kind of an accident. I think the broken leg on the X is a mistake, and men are kind of social accidents.
When you do,
So I think all women just put up with men and tolerate them.
give me the modus operandi. When do you do Family Guy? Do you do it in one day? Do you sit? They give you a script. You're not looking at the characters. They draw to the script. Right?
Correct. I'm not writing on the show anymore, so now all I get to do is show up for a table read. We read the script, and as you may or may not know, each episode takes 9 months to make. I don't know if you knew that. 9 months.
Why?
Because it's like a baby. It's
So you're
from the
9
time
months
that it is.
behind?
Yes, it's like spinning plates. You get one going, you get one going. The things that we are recording now, people won't see for a year and a half. It's madness.
But you got to be kind of current.
You do. That's the trick. The writers are so brilliant because it's picking things that they imagine that are, with popular culture now, are going to still be interesting in 9 months.
Seth still draws the character.
Seth does, you know, Seth still oversees a lot of it, but no, there's a huge
does the
staff
voice.
of artists. He does the voices and, but yeah, it takes 9 months to get it going. So I go in for a table read, and then
Wow.
a week later I go in to record, and then we re-record based on rewrites. We re-record again based on rewrites. We re-record again based on rewrites, all the way up until like a week before the show airs. They might replace something if, God forbid, someone we made fun of passes away, or something's no longer funny. We can change it at the last
I'm going to
minute.
ask Alex in a minute if voiceover is acting right after this. Our guest is Alex Borstein. She stars in Getting On Sunday nights at 8 p.m. on HBO, featured on Mad TV. Of course, she's Lois Griffin on Family Guy. You were on Showtime Shameless, right?
Yeah, I
Writer,
did
producer.
actor as well. I did a little part that will be coming back again this season too.
Oh, wow. You're a busy, busy person.
I am a busy, busy person.
Is voiceover acting?
Yes, voiceover acting, I think the thing that's most similar to is like green screen acting. So, you know, like the other half of the Star Wars films that apparently were made just on a green screen, staring at X's with corners of the camera, I think it's very similar with voiceover acting. Seth is a real stickler about the acting in cartoons. The animated performer needs to really be an actor. It's not just about do a silly voice. You know, he feels like for a lot of, you know, daytime animation and some kids shows, you can kind of do that, but he feels like to pull it off with prime time,
By the
you
way,
have to
kids
act.
watch Family Guy. My kids watch it. A lot of the lines they don't get.
Yeah, thank God.
We have some social media questions for you. Miss Jersey Bell 5 on Instagrams. What do you do to keep the voice in shape?
You know, I don't really do what I should do. I should be taking voice lessons. Seth is great about keeping up on his voice lessons, but I try to warm up, but that usually consists of like talking on the phone in the car on the way.
Do you find the voice all the time?
Sometimes.
Can you go into it right now?
Yeah, I can go into it right now. She's just a part of me, Larry.
But sometimes if I'm sick, you know, you can really hear it, or thankfully a nasal voice lends itself to most colds.
But Seth could then make you sick for that day, right?
You know, I always say that. I say, why don't we just say that she's ill? But he usually likes to redo it.
Sean Budd on Facebook, do you have a favorite character voice that you like to sing in?
Oh my God. Lois, you know, when we do our live Family Guy shows, I will sing as Lois, and it's actually very difficult. It's very pinched, really hard to get some of those high notes. And we do a very filthy version of You Don't Bring Me Flowers, Seth and I do, that's a
filthy
killer.
Version.
A very filthy version. You'll just have to see the live show someday.
Wow.
It's extremely filthy. Do you want me to be extremely filthy?
Try something.
The lyrics, instead of You Don't Bring Me Flowers anymore, are You Don't Eat My P anymore.
Yeah, that'll work.
There you go. He asked.
And my wife will go through the room and my kids are watching and she'll love it. Okay. Abdallah Sati, do you prefer on-screen acting or voiceover?
I would never want my life to exist without being able to do both. It's nice to take a break. You can get on camera and you go through hair, you go through makeup, you do wardrobe, and you get to be the face and control the acting. With voiceover, I have no control over how the animators direct me.
Yeah.
They direct it, they act you. So sometimes I need the control of on camera.
Lori Coco Bentel on Twitter wants to know best and worst thing about working for Seth MacFarlane.
Probably the best thing is the sex. He's quite good. And we're method, so anytime Lois and Peter have to make love, we do it in the booth. The worst thing about working for Seth would be the sex. I'm kidding. The best thing about working for him is that he's a genius, and the worst thing is that he's a genius. He's a perfectionist, and I'll never be able to hit the notes he does, figuratively and literally. And sometimes I feel like Salieri to his Amadeus.
We have some quick questions, if you only knew, right? Funniest person you know?
Funniest person I know, living?
Anything.
It probably was my grandmother, who Miss Swan is based on.
Oh, really?
Yes. She was probably the funniest.
She sounded like Miss Swan? Mm-hmm. Impersonation you haven't nailed yet?
I don't have a Larry King yet, and I have a real hard time with an actual Boston accent, but I'm working on it.
Really?
Yeah. I can't, Boston. And Peter kind of talks, I can do like a version of Peter Griffin, and then it kind of comes out okay.
Oh, Peter's Boston.
But if I try to, he's Rhode Island, but if I try to do it as a female, I can't really park a car, Boston. I can't do it yet.
Ted was very Boston.
Ted was very Boston. Is it sounding like I'm from Boston?
Yeah, a little bit.
Is that right?
Yeah.
It stinks.
You're on a desert island. What 3 things do you have with you?
Okay. A chair.
A chair.
A tree.
A tree.
And rope.
And rope. Explain.
I don't care for the sun. I don't like being alone. So I think the first thing I would do is hang myself. So that's what I would do.
What makes you laugh every time?
I hate to admit it, but poop things and fart things. I've got a 1-year-old and a 5-year-old, and
They poop and they fart, right?
Poop and they fart, and I can't help it. I'm trying to set a good example and not.
Why? One final question.
Oh boy.
Why is fart funny?
I think because it's out of our control. And it reminds us, I think because it's the common denominator. It reminds us that in the end, disgusting smells come out of us.
My wife thinks it's deliberate.
Cindy Crawford, I don't care how beautiful you are, farts come out of your butt. Farts come out of you.
You got it, Alex.
Yeah.
You're a delight.
Oh, thank you.
Getting on Sunday nights at 10, my guest, Alex Borstein. Catch her on HBO's new series, and of course, Family Guy on Fox. Coming up, stand-up comic and actor Chris D'Elia. Don't go away. Welcome to Larry King Now. Our guest, Chris D'Elia, named one of Variety's top 10 comics to watch. He starred in the NBC sitcom Whitney and will soon be appearing in another upcoming NBC show called Undateable. Now Chris is releasing a 1-hour stand-up special on Comedy Central called White Male Black Comic, premieres this Friday, December 6th at midnight and goes on sale this December 10th. It says White Male Black Comic. You do black off-color stuff?
No, I didn't actually expect that title to be so controversial. People are definitely tweeting me about it, asking what it means. It's just really an inside joke. I have another buddy, his name is Eric Griffin. He's a black guy and a comedian. And it was always an inside joke with him and I that he was like, I'm black, but you're better at performing in front of black crowds. So it became, I'm a white guy, but I'm,
I like the title.
Thanks.
You have an affinity for, you're a rapper too? Now explain that to me. I like rappers, but you have another name.
Yeah, Chank Smith is a rap album that I came out with last year. It's a joke as well. But what happened was I don't know, I mean, I love hip hop, and I had a guy that I heard this album called One Crazy Weekend in, and the producer was Mr. Green, and I thought it was really great. The production was great, and I tweeted at him. I said, "Hey man, I love this album. The production is the best all year." And he tweeted back at me. He's like, "Thanks man, I'm a big fan." And so he heard me do this character, Chank Smith, on a podcast. And I said, "Let's make a song." And he said, "Okay." And we both had so much fun because he's used to working with like serious rappers. So we were laughing the whole time, and we just made a whole album.
How'd you come up with that name?
I don't know.
What does Chank mean?
I don't even know. It was just something that
Chank.
It came about. I have no idea.
Give me an example of Chank rap.
Well, Chank raps about stuff that's not necessarily cool to rap about, but he'll just be like, "Yeah, I finally got a Larry King. I was a little nervous, but now it seems to be going okay." And he doesn't necessarily have to rhyme. So that was a lyric for him.
I see. So you got two careers going here.
Yeah. One's working out much better, but yeah.
You give me an idea of your comedy, because it's new to me.
Yeah.
You do hot button issues?
I don't know. I mean, I
Political?
think... I'm not political, no, but I feel like political stuff has a shelf life, and I just like to talk about people, and I talk about...
Race?
Yeah, sometimes I talk about dating girls, and then I talk about, well, in this special I talk about homophobia, I talk about black guys, the way they laugh, I talk about church. So, yeah, I mean, I guess it's offensive to some, but I wouldn't say I'm offensive.
You grew up in a show business family, right?
Yeah.
What does your dad do?
My dad's a producer and a director, and he's a director, and he...
Of television?
Yeah, of TV, yeah. He did like Boston Legal, Ally McBeal, all the way back to Doogie Howser. And now he works on Crazy Ones with Robin Williams.
Which is a hit.
Yeah.
Has he put you in any of his shows?
I've worked with him once or twice, yeah, when I was a kid. But this is a joke in our family, he's supported me my whole career, everything, advice, monetarily, coming up, and he put me through some college, and I said, I asked him to direct this, my special, my 1 hour special, and I said, "You're welcome. I've paid you back."
That's funny.
Yeah. So we're square. I said we're square now.
Did you ever want to be anything else?
Than a comedian? No.
Yeah.
No.
You were born for this.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, growing up in my family, it was just kind of all we do is make fun of each other. That's how we like show each other love, kind of in a way. And,
brothers and sisters?
One brother, younger brother, and I, for some reason, got it the most.
Do you ever bomb?
Yeah.
What's that like when you bomb?
Well, in the beginning, it's the worst feeling you could ever feel. I mean, to have like 300 or 400 people staring at you like you're a painting is just like the worst. It's the worst. You can't even describe it. It's just, you can't describe it. It's the worst feeling ever. You feel terrible. You feel like you should kill yourself.
Nobody gets it. Singers don't get that.
No, yeah, because you can just kind of zone out and sing.
Yeah, that's right.
Or play the guitar, get lost in the music. There's no music to get lost in.
That's right.
When you're doing stand-up, you get lost in the silence.
You're alone.
Yeah.
There's
exactly.
no help.
So that's happened before. And, it happens less now that I somewhat know a little bit more of what I'm doing. But now, if you bomb, it doesn't matter. I always thought that if the only...
Doesn't matter?
No, I don't. I mean, it still stings a little bit, but I feel like it only matters if the comedian cares. If nobody's really bombing, if you're bombing and you don't give a shit, if you're a comic and you're just bombing and whatever, people aren't really as uncomfortable. But if you're like, oh, God, this isn't working, then it becomes extremely uncomfortable. That's bombing to me. I did get heckled, though. That one we kept in the uncut version.
And what happened in the heckling?
I get heckled. I probably get heckled more than
What do people say to you? What do they?
Well, a lot of times it's positive, but it's still heckling. It's like, woo! Like if some girl won't stop going, woo, woo, you're like, okay, but you're really f***ing up the timing of my jokes here. Like, I get it, thank you, but you're liking me in the wrong way, you know? And so I'll be like, okay, be quiet. But this girl, it was in New Orleans, so everybody was drunk. So she was just, some girl just kept going, yeah, whoa, whoa. And I finished a joke, I said, hey, shut the f*** up. And everyone kind of erupted because it was all on their minds, you know. And then I just explained to her what she was doing wrong. And I said, you think you're gonna go home and you're gonna think that this show is better because I just made fun of you and that you made it better, but you're wrong. You're f***ing it up and I'm making it better. I'm fixing it. So it was fun.
What comic had an influence on you as a kid?
Eddie Murphy, Jim Carrey. I like physical guys. I like guys who. Eddie Murphy to me was the best. Robin Williams, you know, I love him.
Yeah, there's a genius about
Yeah,
it. Coming up, Chris on the sitcom that put him in the spotlight, and he plays a game of If You Only Knew right after this. We're back with Chris D'Elia. What about Whitney? Give me the story of Whitney. I like that show.
Thanks. Yeah, she, you know, we would kick around at the clubs together. I mean, we knew each other. She's like my best friend, one of them, and. She was just like, she told me, she's like, I wrote a sitcom and I want you to play my boyfriend. And I was like, okay, that's something you hear in Hollywood a lot. Is like, hey, I wrote you this thing, I want you to be in it. And you're like, and then you're like, all right, I wonder who's gonna end up, who's playing it. But she meant it and she did it and I auditioned a few times in front of NBC and they liked me and I did it and we did it for 2 years.
Did you like acting?
Yeah, I like acting. I mean, you know, if I could do one thing for the rest of my life, it would be stand up. But acting to me it's cool. It's another way of kind of like being in front of an audience and getting. Now
she told Howard Stern recently she felt there was a negative backlash. She said, I think that as someone who didn't really have a family unit growing up, comics were like my family. As soon as I got the show, I felt like everyone was against me.
Yeah, I guess people like to hate on who's successful, but I don't know. I mean, there was a backlash, I think, just because of the way it was promoted. Like, it was in your face. I think people like to find what shows to watch. And I mean, we were on every billboard. I was on so many billboards that I was like,
sick of
get
yourself.
this show to air, so I don't have to look at this guy anymore.
Now, what about this new show, Undateable?
Yeah.
You're the subject? Are you the one that's undateable?
I would be the Whitney part in this, yeah. Yeah, I play a character who's roommates with another character who's like a lovable loser. He's a lovable loser, and I help him get girls. My character is good at getting girls, but hard at it's difficult for him to keep them. So in that way, he's undateable. They're both undateable, and so it's like the blind leading the blind kind of.
When is it coming?
Next year at some point, January, February, I'm sure. It's a mid-season replacement, so.
Going to be a hit?
It's going to be a hit, yeah.
You sure it is? No, it sounds like it. It's got the...
Honestly, it's a lot of fun, and I'm having a blast. I get to play a version of what I do on stage, you know? It's not, I didn't create the show, but the writers and the producers are very, they know my comedy, and they kind of like write for it.
Who's the other act? Who's the other guy?
The other guy is Brent Morin, which is actually really cool. He used to open for me on the road. And
really?
Yeah, he got the part first. He auditioned for it, the #2 lead, and then they offered me the #1 lead, and I called him up and I was like, hey, you're not going anywhere without me. So.
All right, we're going to play a game of If You Only Knew. I'll just throw this at you, Chris. First person you ever kissed?
Her name?
Yeah.
Her name was Janelle.
Janelle.
Yeah.
How old were you, Chris?
I was 15, I think.
Chris?
Yeah, 15? It was old, I know. I'm a late bloomer.
Now they're having sex.
I can't wait till I have sex.
Who would you like to kiss if you had the chance?
Miley Cyrus.
Really?
Yeah, she's 20. I think that's okay to say.
Yeah. What would you like to change about yourself?
Wow, that's a. Oh, I'm selfish. I'm really selfish.
You are?
Yeah.
Badly selfish?
Yeah, I wish this was my show.
Is there a TV show you're embarrassed to say you watch?
I only watch cooking channels, and I don't cook at all. So.
You don't cook.
Oh, and I also
watch cooking channels.
I watched Whitney a lot. I watch all the stuff that I'm in. People are like, "Oh, I can't watch myself." I'm like, "Oh, I love myself." That goes to with the selfish thing.
Yeah,
too.
I get that. Yeah. What's your guilty pleasure?
My guilty pleasure is right now it's chocolate. I've been on this chocolate kick, man. I'll just eat it. I don't even want it. I'm halfway eating it, and I'm like,
Milk
shouldn't have
or
done it.
dark?
no, milk.
Yeah.
Dark is like,
Dark is supposed to be healthy, but milk tastes much better.
yeah, of
Dark
course
chocolate,
it's healthy. So,
dark,
yeah,
dark. Admit it, dark chocolate doesn't taste good.
Dark chocolate is bull. And
Except
anytime,
in mounds.
yeah, but that's all about the mounds, though. That's all about the whatever else is in there. Yeah.
If you weren't an actor or a comedian, what would you be?
I would like to say I would be in jail. I think that would be a cool thing to say, like 50 Cent.
You're stranded on a desert island. What 3 things would you like to have with you?
A Tupac CD. I would like to take a Tupac Shakur CD because I love his music. He's my favorite. And an audience. That would be good to have an audience. And a microphone, a good sound system.
Good thing. On an island.
Yeah.
Well,
Then we could all have fun, and I'll be like, you guys, just this is the only entertainment you have. Let me tell you jokes.
Do you have a girlfriend, Chris?
Yeah.
What, are you serious with her? Or is it?
Yeah, we're serious.
What does she do?
She's an actress.
So why are you living together?
No. It sounds not serious, but it is.
So does she know it's serious?
Yeah. Well, she does now. She'll probably see this.
Okay, but do you?
I really f***ed myself here.
Do you intend? You ended this relationship.
Yeah, I know.
What's your proudest moment?
I think it's doing this 1-hour special and having my dad direct it, and just having him cooped up in that little van, being like, "Go to camera 1," and I'm on stage.
Oh yeah. What's it like having a father direct you? What's it like?
It's just so cool, man. I mean, like,
A lot different than having a non-father direct you.
yeah,
I mean, it's got to be different.
yeah. He knows me. He knows my act. He sees
changed
me all
your
the
diaper.
time. He changed my diaper and directed my special.
That's his claim to fame.
I hope so, because that means I'm going to get big.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, man.
Keep it up, man. You're going to be a major star.
Thanks, man.
Thanks to my guest, Chris DElia. His stand-up special, White Male Black Comic, airs on Comedy Central December 6th at midnight. I knew it would be at midnight. And it's available for sale online starting December 10th. And you can find me on Twitter at King's Things, and I'll see you next time.